Okay, we're all guys in my world. That's just the way it is. I've taken the guys term back, and it's now for everyone. Just so you know, we're
A
missing
nice gender
Greg
neutral
because
guy.
Greg's vacationing. So y'all should just give him like a hard time next week. But the three of us are here and we're talking about everything that's going on in the market, according to Search Social and websites, because that's where we're all brilliant, right? So if you're joining us and you know of anything that's going on in the marketplace that we do not talk about, try to mention it because we want to know too. We're all here to learn together, right. And I see we have a couple people joining us, so chime in, say howdy. And I'm Pip, and that's Rena, and that's Phelan, and I'm gonna let them take it away. So Rena, why don't you start and tell us cool stuff?
Okay, well, I have two Twitter pieces of information, and one is verification. So apparently, I don't know if everyone realized, but Twitter was taking verification away for a while because there was some issues with it. Some people who were scammer accounts were getting verified, and some people who were clearly celebrities not getting verified. So they put that whole thing on pause. Now they've opened it up again, but they haven't really talked about how that is going to work. But so probably more news on that soon. And the second thing is the super follows. So I don't know if anybody has noticed, but there was this new program um, that was started in the States, so it's not here in Canada yet, where you could create a super follower category, and people would sign up for that. They would pay a little bit of money for that. It was like $1 or $2 or $5 a month,
Oh,
and they would get, you could send them, as a creator, you could send them special content that the rest of your feed doesn't get. So I guess it's kind of like a little Patreon thing.
yeah.
And so it's been a really slow uptake. I think that the amount of money that Twitter has made off it is only a whopping $200. Is that for the whole world, or is that just, oh, it must just be in the States. That's right. So, because they only started it in the States. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not really sure what that means, but it's a really slow uptake because it could be a really good space for people to um, create a revenue stream if it works out. So tell me in the comments below, are you interested in following somebody for extra special content? Would you pay a little bit of money every month to have that? I would love to know if that's of interest to people.
Yeah, that's a good Patreon question too, because do any of us pay for additional content? I mean, that also brings up the point of the content, like a wall between your user and the content, right? It's pretty interesting topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mention that. And somebody's saying we all look amazing. For some reason, I
Yay!
That would be
Thank you
great.
very
yay.
much.
I can't get up the video, so I can't see who said that. So I'm ever so sorry,
It's
but
great.
in time. Uh, Phelan, do you,
Pip,
do you
it was
got
Greg.
any you want to?
Greg.
I'm putting you on the
Someone,
spot.
Greg.
Oh, is it Greg?
Yeah. It's Greg. I checked.
Oh,
So yes, and so one of the big things that I noticed this week out in the wild was if you go to your Google My Business, you will see that there's a new tab above messages. So you could do messages through your Google My Business. They also now are doing call history, meaning they show you how many calls you picked up, how many you missed, and then they will show you a graph over time, and they keep a record of these things. It's got the little beta tag, and you do have to turn it on. It is not activated by default, so definitely recommend if you want to know that information, which I'm going to guess most businesses do. Then I would definitely go and activate that as quickly as possible. Again, it's in beta, so we don't know if it's going to be axed off or if they're actually going to keep it around. But it's definitely worth having. Yeah, and that was one of the interesting ones we found out in the wild.
that's a
The
good
other
one.
thing, yeah, it was definitely fun to report on that and let everyone know that you should go and turn that on as quickly as possible.
Ooh,
They are
did
getting better as well with the historical graphs of like how many messages you get, how many requests for quotes you get, how many, like, what's your peaks and valleys in the months, and they're making it something that you can show your client. I don't know if they've got it so we can connect to Data Studio yet, but I know that they're going to be working on building it out more, and so that's really exciting to see.
That is, that's, and it's a great opportunity for if you're looking to grow your business and you want to add a service to it, if you're a marketer, right? That Google My Business, man, um, that's a gold mine. And
It is.
and it keeps
Mhm.
growing, right? It's really robust. And I mean, just think, like 5 years ago, it didn't exist. Five? Is it?
Yeah. It was a really 5 years it didn't exist, hey?
Yeah.
Wow.
It,
It
it
feels
it
like it's
did
always
exist,
been there.
kind of. It was called Google Places before,
Yeah, that's
and it just never had any uptake. And Google's been trying to work out a system like this for since they started, for like a local SEO specific tool that would
Mhm.
help you. And I know they've had like a bunch of, if you ever go through, what is it, Google Graveyard? It's a website. I have to go find the link, but it's all the products that they've killed, and they've killed off a lot of products.
Right.
It's
And
true.
It's so
yeah, it's like hundreds. It's pretty nuts.
Really?
But yeah,
Hundreds? I had no idea. I mean, I could list
yeah,
5 probably, but I
I,
didn't know it was hundreds.
you got to share that
yeah.
link now because we're all going to want to see that later today just for a good laugh, right? Because Thursday's the
Yeah.
new Friday. Definitely
Yeah,
the new Friday. So we've got Twitter. We have GMB. I can't wait to try that beta tool. Is there anything else in GMB that we're missing? I don't know.
No, I would also report that
Oh,
it seems that all of the Google algorithm updates have all been completed. So your rankings on Google should be much more stable going forward.
For a
In the
couple
future, of
months.
course. Yeah, exactly. But the chaos of them releasing 4 algorithms, all updates all at the same time, as that settled down, and so we shouldn't see any huge fluctuations for people. So that's really good as well to see.
So go take a look at your numbers. And there's lots going on in Google Analytics that we're not talking about today. What else is there? There's a lot going on.
so just in case people missed it, this came out a little while ago, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it on one of these sessions or not, but Google My Business also has a really easy way for the reviews now. So you can go in, there's a little tool inside if you need to report a review that you want like a review taken down. There's a new internal tool, so you can use that to report it instead of just from the customer facing space. And there was also, in the olden days, not that long ago, you had to take your Google, there was some fancy way you had to take your Google link and put it through a link generator to actually get a link that you could share with your clients to give you reviews. Now there's actually one inside the Google My Business page. So if you log into your Google My Business space in the on sort of, it's about midway down on the right hand side, you'll find a little short link that you
Yeah.
can pass along.
It's on the it's when you log in on the home. Is it on the homepage? Yeah, it's on the
On the
homepage,
main one.
not on the review page.
No.
That's been there forever, but I understand some people have not had it.
Yeah, I've just keep getting that recently. I keep getting asked, how do I share my Google My Business? So I figure that information has not circulated very well.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I think a couple companies would give you the short link, so that's really helpful. I love Google My Business. I love Google My Business. We have some strategies we're working on. Okay, Google Ads, because that's like my favorite right now. They're phasing out, so when you log into Google Ads now, you're gonna see that it's phasing out expanded text ads. And expanded text ads are only like 4 years old, 4 or 5. Because when I started my own company 2 years in, that's when they changed them to have the expanded text ads. But they're actually taking that away. So you will only have responsive text ads, which is interesting. More AI, right? It's going down that road. So that's interesting. And then the search term report, it's life changing, right? So if you're in Google Ads, you know that all of a sudden your strategy for optimizing had to change because you couldn't just use that search term report. Well, now we're getting 3 times as much information. So, pardon? Really?
It's 6 times is what they reported, or 6.5 times more information. Granted that a lot of those search terms, as we were doing some research, turned out to be all broad match, which since it's that pure broad,
They're
at
showing
least they're
more
telling
though
us.
now.
Yeah, they are, but the most of them were for the pure broad, so you got to watch out that at least they're telling you that part, so you can start to negative out some of the keywords that are going to be affecting your like eating up cost on your campaigns.
Yeah.
It's just I understand that to strike the balance with privacy, that they needed to make it more of the broad. Uh,
You know,
I understand where they're coming from.
okay, but you know, we've learned that when Google makes changes to their ads platform, which brings them their most money, that it seems like they make changes and all of a sudden they're making more money. Right? So it's not, yeah, it's I'm reading articles about that, you know, Google Ads might not be smart for business owners and that you have to spend upwards $3,000, which for me is ludicrous. We have a lot of clients being successful on Google with Google Ads and not spending that much. So it's all who you talk to, right? Every marketer's different.
Yeah, it really depends. I had a client not that long ago, and he tried Google Ads. I don't know who was doing them, and had an absolute, stance that Google Ads aren't going to work for him. They don't work for me. And I had to explain, and this is the same thing. Google Ads are only as good as the person that's implementing them. Like it's part the program, as part the bidding, as part the who's bidding on all of those. How many people are bidding on the same keyword, what you're going for, and then and the analysis, how well you can analyze the data, and sometimes somebody can do something really quite remarkable, whereas someone else really came up against a wall.
Interesting.
And
yeah.
so
Well,
this
and
is the
I always think of this once. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
sorry, this is the same client who was doing about, his average was about 55,000 a month in online sales on his e-commerce. When after we implemented it was a year into doing Google My Business, ads for him. He went up to 125,000 in a month in sales. So it was like, like that's just, sometimes you got to try a few providers. That's all I have to say.
Right. And
Yeah.
I always say, you know, it's funny because I see other marketing agencies and they don't necessarily meet with their clients. And one of the things that we do is we meet with our clients because it's got to be a group effort. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know about painting, I don't know about countertops. Gosh, like we're working with some amazing companies, and to understand what they do, I need to be in contact to ask them questions
Yeah.
and to do a good job. It just doesn't make sense anymore. So I think that's where, when people land on the right person for them or the right agency, will be because they have that connection and that customer experience, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we're all at, right? We want
Yeah.
best friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and one expression that I always go with when talking about Google Ads is it captures attention. So the thing to keep in mind is, if you're like a plumber business, everyone knows what a plumbing business to expect and how you would type it into Google. But if you're having a service that people wouldn't even know how to type in, then you need to rethink how you're getting people, because they're not even aware of how to type in the keywords you would be bidding on, or what, like how you would line that up. So you need to make sure you're focusing on the intent of the person as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, when I started out in like agency world for digital, it was don't hire your brother or your mother's cousin, or I mean, I guess if it's it'll be your cousin. Anyway, Michelle is here and I saw Mona swing by. So hello, welcome. If you have marketing advice or tips, we're getting into the website portion a little bit because we're just going to go over there. Greg's not here, so he's missing the event. Did I
There
mention
is one piece of
Greg's not
Google
here?
Ad news that we did miss one piece of Google Ads news that I think when we met, we forgot to write it down in the notes, but it is that Google Display Ads are going to be merging standard ads and smart ads.
Oh, I think I
Which,
blocked that out.
yeah, I think it was one of those ones where it definitely made me cringe a little bit of just seeing how they're going to implement it, because that is one where smart display is a little, I think you don't get as much control over placements, which is pretty much it's terrifying, because I've seen Google burn our entire ads display budget in an hour.
Mm.
on stupid first thing in the morning ads on apps that people are using, and they didn't. There was just it was pointless,
Right.
and so
So
yeah,
you're gonna have to explain what the two types of ads are, and a way around that overspending while you're sleeping is to inside Google Ads you can separate your hours, right? And that's another way to
yeah.
optimize. So because then you can increase budgets at the time of day when you're busiest and turn off your campaigns when people are sleeping. And Greg is
Yes.
here. Yeah, you're not here though, buddy. No, I'm glad you're here. Greg's on a boat. Who wants to sing that now? Uh, so Phelan and Greg, Greg, you can type. You guys wanna what's going on with websites? And Phelan, I'm making you at the end tell us about those two different types of ads.
Okay. All right. No worries. So there's a couple of things in the website department. They also did today. They just found out that Ninja Forms on WordPress has a 0-day vulnerability. So keep your eyes peeled if you do use Ninja Forms. That you need to update it as soon as it comes out.
What does that
Uh,
mean?
it
The
means that there is an error in the code that even the developers didn't know about, and it went to so what had happened is there was an issue with it. They found a vulnerability, and so now when people use it, you can do stuff like SQL injection attacks, so like getting all your users out of your database, stuff
Mm,
like that. So you can get it's not good, and at least they found it, and there's going to be an update coming out to resolve the issue.
interesting. And Ninja Forms, I guess, is that a paid plugin or is that a
It has a free tier that's
uh,
decent. It's like a one of the form builders, one of the big ones. They said that they're on at least 1 million websites, so
oh wow.
they're reasonable size. Yeah.
And like yeah, so there's a lot of different purchases being made in the digital world right now. What did we see last month? We saw HostGator bought Yoast, and
Yeah.
then you're saying the Social Ninja just got bought, and I think what was the copy of the AI one that HubSpot bought?
Snazzy. Uh,
Nazi?
no, it
Yeah.
wasn't HubSpot. It was Unbounce.
Oh.
So which is a good pairing. It's now been rebranded as Smart Copy. I just got the announcement yesterday about it, and it's definitely that's a good move. That makes sense having your landing page company own it. And then there's obviously the big one that happened this week, which is the $12 billion acquisition of Mailchimp by Intuit, which
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to me
What's
whatsoever.
into
And
it?
I
And they're the people that run QuickBooks and
Oh,
all
they're
the.
the ones that get to determine our tax policy through lobbying. So uh, they've done a lot of really bad stuff with our tax policy. And if you ever thought, hey, this is really confusing and really like doesn't make a lot of sense, why I have to do taxes this way, it's because of them. They spent a lot of money to make sure
are
that
you
it
are
doesn't
you
get make it
saying
better.
they might make email marketing more convoluted?
I don't know what they're doing with an email
Well,
marketing company. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. It sounds like they have more money than they know what to do with. That's like I don't get why you would buy that company
hopefully,
if you're working.
hopefully they're not going to use the QuickBook customer support handbook because that's painful. So painful. So painful. The people who support QuickBooks have never used the program.
Oh, interesting.
And they don't understand the needs of small business owners at all. I've had so many conversations with them. Half the time, they can't understand what my problem is. They don't understand what the actual problem is. And they go through those awful, horrendous scripts, you know? So they have to start you at the beginning. Have you turned your device on and off? Have you unplugged? Have you rebooted? Do you know those kind of conversations when they take you right to the beginning and really you're down here somewhere and you've got there and you need to know where, like, anyways, don't get me started. I can't stand their support so much.
Right, you have someone in agreement with you. They have a huge small medium business. They have huge clients. That's who they work with, right? It's like there's another one, AP. They're they do paychecks. And so I know they're pretty huge too and don't help the smaller business. FreshBooks is, we all use FreshBooks here, and
Love their support rocks. Even if their software isn't perfect, I will stay with them for their support. Unbelievable support.
And here's just a small tip for anyone out there. If you're Canadian, this is a Canadian tip. If you're Canadian and you call FreshBooks and say, man, I'm Canadian, why are you making me pay in American? They'll be like, well, we'll give you a 10% discount on the year.
Actually, this week they just announced that they switched it, so now they will charge you in Canadian, which is it's weird.
Great.
But whatever, I'll take it.
Never mind.
It's a fixed now it's become a fixed cost, right?
Oh.
I like fixed costs. I don't like variable costs. It's too hard to organize.
Yeah, it's definitely more challenging, especially when you're doing your own books. That's for sure, or paying attention to your books. But yes, we are kind of going off topic, but it's all about marketing, right? And so FreshBooks is actually used for most marketing companies. I actually think Greg uses FreshBooks. So here's a comment, Rena. This might make you cringe. It says QuickBooks has been so good for me, and I don't need their stinking support.
Well, that's good. I'm so happy for you, whoever you are. That's really good news. But I'm not like that. I need lots of support. I can't figure things out at all that easily. And
I do. I like support. I do. It's true. So we've had some, there hasn't been much really big news in websites. I think we're at 5.8.1, so we can all update our WordPress now. And you guys mentioned something called Flippa, which, guys, I used to be called that back many years ago, which was one of.
You want to tell people that?
Yeah. Because my name is Pip and it's so short. A lot of people give me additional nicknames. So Flippa was one of them. I know I'm an open book, so there you go. Rena, we'll find out what your nicknames are.
Oh no, you won't.
Right. So, what is Flippa? What is this thing going on?
Okay, so the news that's coming out is that they raised a Series A round for $15 million.
Who are they?
And the reason why, I'm getting to that. They are a website, and where they are a marketplace of people selling their website. So the usual group of people that they are is affiliate marketing sites. So, you get X amount of traffic, you have to show numbers on how much money you're making through display ads like AdSense or through affiliate marketing. And then you have to show income statements and how much you made and how much traffic you're getting. And then you sell it for a multiple of that amount.
And they buy it?
What they do is Flippa helped facilitate the process. So they are guys that were selling and buying and selling websites. And then they just decided that they would make it as a service where they would help you out. I don't know the exact details because it's not something I'm super interested in. I only know them on the periphery of just affiliate marketing people I follow. But yeah, they do. I don't know what they're raising the money for. It'll be interesting to see what they're going to be spending on it, if it's staff or building out new services. Because typically, if you take on any venture capital money, they're expecting to see like multiples, and then you go public because that's the only way they make their money back. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it. It's just something to keep in mind, especially for anyone in the affiliate marketing space, because I know Flippa is a really big one for selling websites.
Right. And that's really interesting because you guys might be wondering, why are we talking about affiliate marketing? Well, Phelan and I actually get some of our strategies from the affiliate marketing strategies because I always equate it to when I worked at the newspaper. There were certain people that always bought ads, and I would use them as examples because they wouldn't buy ads weekly if they didn't get a response, and they were always in there. So same thing with like affiliates, like if they're not making money off their strategy and what they're doing, then they're quickly going to change it. So that's why we do look to them. Just like it's really interesting to jump. I bet Rena does this too, that we look at other industries to help us see what's going on in the marketplace and make adjustments to strategies, right? The last thing, we saved the best to last, and I'm going to let Rena lead this conversation because it'll be quite funny, I have to say. Rena, there's been some restrictions in ad targeting around children, and it has created some hiccups for us marketers, and not for the right reasons. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
I can start it.
Sort of. Yeah. So basically, yeah. So I mean, this has children. It doesn't really matter who it is. It's like they're all of the restrictions have they're two-sided. So what ends up happening is a piece of a restriction is included or rolled out to avoid what they call targeting. I forgot what the word is. People that could be, disadvantaged or considered a risk or anything like that. I forgot what the word is. Sorry. And anyway, so this is part of that. And my favorite example is actually Todd Maffin's example, which I think makes so much sense. It's like marketers are no longer able to target people with disability, which sounds like a really good thing because we don't want to take advantage of people with disabilities. However, what about when we have a thing or a service that actually helps people with disabilities? Like I think Todd's example was adaptive clothing. So that's clothing that has different kinds of things on it that we wouldn't need, but somebody who maybe uses a wheelchair or can't do up buttons or those kinds of things, that's they need those kinds of things. So you can't send an ad out to anyone with those problems, with those the problem of putting on their own shirts.
And it's not just about the targeting. So, okay, what's really interesting is I had somebody, and this was a prime example to add on to Rena's example, which was I had somebody come to me and they were doing a Google Ads test for a company, and they had a question for me because they couldn't, for the life of them, get this information. And they were in the Google Keyword Planner. And so it was for Google Ads, and they were searching baby shoes in the
Right.
Keyword Planner. And they were getting 0 results, nothing. They could search anything else that didn't have the word baby in it, and all of a sudden they were getting results. And so they asked us, and then I was like, okay, well, there's been this new development with Google Ad policy that you cannot advertise to children like that. So therefore, parents now I can't find keywords that'll help parents find the right baby shoes.
Yeah. The funny thing is that babies are not shopping. So you're not actually targeting babies when you use the word baby in a keyword. I mean, I just don't understand why these people don't think like that. Like, I don't know what they're thinking. So when children are actually searching for things on Google, they're rarely ever searching anything that has the word children in it. But parents do.
Yes.
But parents will use the word children. And so that's the funny thing. Like, I'm not exactly sure how they're making these decisions or who's making these decisions.
And the decisions will change. So once, it becomes well known that this is happening, and maybe we're just seeing the very beginning of some of the problems, right?
Maybe, because the other thing is that there are tons of ways to target children without actually using the word children. I mean, there are tons of ways. And I find that that's SpongeBob. Exactly. They shouldn't allow the word SpongeBob then. Yes, because that's probably what kids are putting in the search engine. Thank you very much, Facebook user.
And then how do they market cereals then? And what's with because they're always marketing cereals. And I mean, how many parents have to be very cautious about YouTube, right? And what happens on YouTube. And like, it's very interesting, the marketing world and where we're going. I can't wait to see the changes that come. But it also, I swear that if you pick this as a career, if you decide to take a sabbatical for 5 years, you might not know anything.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
right?
That sounds very true.
So
Yeah.
every third Thursday, we get on here and we definitely talk about interesting marketing things. If you're joining us and you're on one of our channels, we actually do this live mainly in our Facebook group, which is called Cyberpunk Geeks Marketing Mixer. And you can join me. I'm Pip Seymour in there. And Rena, tell them about you. And you.
Yeah, Rena Little and my run a little digital agency in Vancouver called Little Works Indie Media.
Nice. And Phelan?
Yeah, and my name's Phelan Lewis. I work with Pip Seymour at Seymour Digital Media, focusing on search engine marketing.
Ooh, yeah. It's fun. So we will see you next week. The topic is influencers and algorithms. Are they killing social? Ooh, that's going to be a good one. 11 a.m. Pacific. Join us here and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.